I want to haul a sled full of gear across snow and ice, but I'm a bit of a lunatic, so I need a tie-down cover. I also love improvising with materials I have on hand, so let's design one real quick.
Satellite feed confirmed.
First, we need a way to attach cordage to the sled. Using a drill without cordage, I put some holes in the gunnels wherever it feels good. 2 or 3 along the nose and tail, and 3 or more down the sides. 3 seems fine for this 40-inch sled. I've got a wee roll of Reflectix left, so I measure it out. To ensure there's room for a hefty load, I make a precision adjustment, then mark the edge. To appear professional, I trace a line with a straight edge, but then just free cut a curve to match the end of the sled. We're improvising here, so to be safe, I mark the gunnel anchor holes onto the Reflectix. Reflected in a dirty mirror for cinematic effect, I gather a sheet of material. I figure a weather-resistant ripstop sleeve anchored with some loops of webbing should do the trick. Once again, I transfer markings for the anchor points. I've left a seam allowance surrounding the Reflectix. Next, using a meter stick, I mark a fold line onto the material. After folding along the line, I trace the end and clip everything in place. It might withstand ripping, but it cuts just fine. It takes a few cuts to run the length, so the straight edge helps keep things aligned. The leftover material goes back in the chest for another project. Now we're almost ready to stitch the sleeve together. I bring the machine over so I've got room to maneuver. There's just one last step I want to take before sewing. I'm working without measurements here, so it's worth doing a final fitting. With the Reflectix under the fold, I did a final tracing to guide me while stitching. It's finally time to sew. I position the sleeve, remove the first clip, and drop the presser foot. The back stitch keeps the thread in place, and I carry on across the first end of the sleeve. I just follow the line, removing clips as they come. I lock it in with another back stitch at the end, then trim the loose thread ends. One of the classic blunders, check that puckering. The thread tension is too high, so I dial it down a notch. Now I'm stitching the long edge. As always, I'll start and end with a back stitch. For simplicity, I'm turning the sleeve right side out now to insert the Reflectix strip before stitching the other end closed, poking out the corners. I'm thinking this won't be too hard. And it isn't, but it takes a while. Next, I fold the open edge inward before making the closing stitch. Clips hold the folds in place while I work. This is the last stitch before attaching anchor loops. I'm running low on webbing, but there should be enough here to get the job done. I take a moment to give Scout some love. I fold the end of the webbing into an arbitrarily sized loop and cut a strap to length. With a lighter, I carefully melt the ends to prevent fraying. I take a rough measurement of the strap. Using the same process, I make enough straps for each of the anchor points. Once again, it's back to the sewing machine. For more strength, you could create straps which span the width of the sling, but I'm using up leftover material and this sled is rather short, so box stitching some small anchors will do just fine. A box stitch is essentially a square with an X in it. I fold the sling to make the 90-degree corners. With 2 layers of Ripstop sandwiching a sheet of Reflectix, this should be plenty strong enough. Here's a look at the finished box stitch. Sturdy. This prototype has 9 anchors. I give them all the same treatment. Final inspection tells me this thing's ready for a fitting. A zigzag paracord through the anchor loops and the holes drilled into the gunnels. The front can serve as a quick access flap for items like this waterproof drone case. A bottle sleeve clips into the canoe pack. Carabiners and D-rings hold it securely. The same principle holds my trekking pole / camera mount in place. I'm pretty happy with the result. If you want to see this sled in action, the video's linked somewhere around here.
Satellite feed lost.
Interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out.